Here you go. So we start with the first one, Python basics. We briefly mentioned it, what's inside 2 weeks ago, but today we just go very quickly go through them. Now in Python, when we're using the Jupyter interface, like we are doing now, you type codes into the text boxes, right? You type codes into the text boxes. A line of code with a pound sign, 井字 with a pound sign in front is a comment, which means it does nothing. It's just a comment. 注腳, right? So actual code, you have to type. The most basic feature of Python is you can use it as a calculator, like 1 plus 2. What is 1 plus 2? Shift Enter. You run codes by pressing Shift Enter. And you press Shift Enter, what you get is 1 plus 2 is 3. Remainder, not reminder. Remainder. Okay. Remainder. 13. The remainder of 13 divided by 3 is $13.5. And it doesn't matter whether you have space in between. It's the same. The space is ignored. So so $13.5 gives you the remainder. 13 divided by 5, you can divide by that, so that we have a remainder of 3. Exponent is expressed as double asterisk, star star. Right? So 5 to the power 2 is 5 star star 2. And that would be 25. Okay, so this is just basic arithmetics. Next is comparison. In programming, you often need to ask, well, is this equals to that? How do you do that? Does 2 times 2 equals to 4? Well, the way you do that is, the way you ask this question is to 2 times 2 equal 4. Notice the double equal sign. In computer programming, very often there's a distinction between the single equal sign and double equal sign. When you want to compare two things, many programming language requires you to use 2 equal sign. And we will see why in a moment. So comparison is equal. And if you press Shift Enter, the answer is 2 times 2 is in fact equals to 4. You can also use bigger, smaller, bigger or equal, smaller or equal. So it's 3 times 2 bigger than 7. The answer you would expect is no. So it's a false. So let's zoom in even more, right? Finally, there is nothing that says that you can only compare numbers. You can compare text. So, if you want to ask, is John different from George? Different is expressed by exclamation mark equal. Exclamation mark in many programming languages means not. So literally what this means is John not equal to George. And George is in fact not equal to John. So you would expect the answer is true. Right? So that's comparison. Equal, bigger, smaller, bigger, equal, smaller, equal, and not equal. Right? Any issue? 有冇問題? Okay, so next is the reason why we need equal for comparison is that in computer programming, equal sign means assignment. That is, when you say x equal to 5, what you're trying to do is not to compare whether x is identical to 5. Rather, what you're trying to do is to say x is 5. x has a value of 5. That's what it means, right? X equals to 5. And if you press shift enter, nothing happens because you're simply assigning a value to x. To see what's inside x, you can press x again, and you would see its content is 5. You can also use the print statement, which also shows you what's inside. So print x, print bracket x, which show you what's inside. Now, why would you need to do that? Well, the reason is print can do a lot more than just showing one single value. For example, you can type text inside for print bracket double quote the value of x is, and then I comma x. This would show me the value of x is 5. So it display a phrase based on what I have told it to display. Okay. One final basic operation is logical operation. Logical operation is when you have multiple conditions you need to check. What do you do? So, like if you want to say, I just want economics major who are in the second year, right? Then you have two conditions. Is the student an economics major? And second, is the student a second year student? So there are two conditions you have to check. So how do you do that? That's the logical operations. So you have, for example, if you want to check if x is bigger than 10 and if it's x is more than 10 and is this bigger than 6, then you literally just type x bigger than 10 and x more than 10 and x bigger than 6, right? So it's really just like English. Condition 1 and condition 2, x more than 10 and x bigger than 6. In our case, x is 5. So x is more than 10, but x is not bigger than 6. So you would expect this not to be true. So it's false. On the other hand, if you're doing an OR, compare OR, then what you have is x bigger than 10 or x bigger than 6. This time, only one of the two conditions have to be true in order for the statement to hold. Is x more than 10 or is it bigger than 6? Well, all you need to do is just think about x is more than 10, so that's true. Is it bigger than 6? No, but that doesn't matter because it's just either one is fine. So in this case, this statement is true. Is x smaller than 10 or bigger than 6? It's smaller than 10, so it's true. Right? So the assignment requires you to combine techniques from the various parts I'm going to mention now into one coherent exercise. So that's why you would see, for example, you would need to use logical operations in the part know your client. You would definitely need that because if you read through the assignments, I've asked you to select clients, for example, with over 1 million income or have a mortgage. In another case, I've asked you to select the clients who have over 300,000 income or have a mortgage with the bank. So there are multiple conditions in selecting the clients for promotion. That's why you need logical operations. Right? Okay.